Porotech Limited is a company specializing in the characterization of porous materials. By utilizing the method of standard porosimetry, we are able to provide you with unique information about your materials. The company offers laboratory services and manufactures the Automated Standard Porosimeter. The following is a demonstration that will allow you to see the operation of our third generation automated porosimeter, the Standard 3.1. Prior to launching the machine, there are several steps required to prepare the sample to be tested. Step 1. Cutting of the sample. The material we are using in this case is a gas diffusion layer for hydrogen-oxygen fuel cell. The sample is cut to a 23 mm diameter using a cutting punch. This procedure is applicable to various paper or cloth-like materials. With other materials, the samples can be cut with scissors, saws, or lasers. We can also test powders or fragmented materials that are packaged in a special 23 mm disc envelope. Step 2. Drying the sample. Prior to testing, we need to ascertain the absolute dry weight of the test sample and the two reference standards. The drying process begins by putting the test sample and the two standards on the tray and into a heated vacuum chamber. After 1 to 2 hours of drying, depending on the material and temperature, the heated vacuum chamber is opened and the tray is removed. The sample and standards are placed into a glass vessel and weighed on the balance that is part of the machine. The information for the test sample is entered into the software. Step 3. Wetting of the sample. It is vital that both the reference standards and the test sample are completely saturated with the wetting liquid. In this case, we are using octane as our measuring liquid. The test sample and the two reference standards are placed in a glass vessel and then into a saturation chamber. The pre-chamber for the octane is attached to the saturation chamber. The vacuum pump is turned on and the octane is introduced into the sample holding vessel. Various liquids such as water, octane, decane, or even some electrolytes can be used for testing. Unlike other methods, this gives you a unique understanding of how the pore structure of your material performs in its own working liquid. After several minutes, the vacuum pump is turned off and the apparatus is disassembled. The test sample and the standards are ready to be put into the holding cups. Step 4. Loading the holding cups. The method of standard porosimetry, or contact porosimetry, is based on having two porous reference standard bodies, for which the pore structure is well known. The two reference standards need to come into contact with the sample being tested in order to reach capillary equilibrium. Here we see one of the standards removed from the wetting liquid. The excess liquid that may build up on the surface as a film is removed by allowing the sample to come into brief contact with the paper. We place the standard into a holding cup. It is then secured via a flat spring, which also serves to separate the holding cups and prevent contact between the test sample and the two reference standards during the weighing step in the testing process. The process is repeated for the actual test sample and the second standard. When the stack is assembled, the test sample is in between the two reference samples. The stack is placed into the machine on the balance. The software is initiated. The porosimetric curves for the reference standards are confirmed. The testing temperature, which can be up to 80 degrees Celsius, is set. The compression, which can be up to 30 kilograms per square centimeter, is set. Additional data such as mass of the holding cups, physical properties of the measuring liquid, drying time, and other data is entered. We are ready for testing. Step 5. Launching the machine. The machine begins operation by taking the stack of 3 holding cups from the balance and transfers them to the testing chamber. The operator enters the temperature and compression settings. These settings simulate a wide variety of realistic environmental conditions. To dry materials with pores less than 100 nanometers in diameter, vacuum treatment can be used in the testing chamber. When the test is loaded into the testing chamber, the cups are compressed and the two reference standards come into contact with the test sample, according to the laws of capillary equilibrium. This process begins a transfer of liquid between the standards and the test sample. When the drying time of the first step is over, the chamber opens. Now, the stack is transferred back to the balance and each cup is weighed individually. After weighing, a point is plotted on the graph. The process of transferring back to the chamber and then to the balance repeats until the original dry weight has been achieved. At the end of testing, we will receive comprehensive numerical results that can be transferred to create integral, differential programs, and other data that will answer numerous questions about the characteristics of the pore structure of this material. The method of standard porosimetry and this unique equipment can test virtually all materials, including powders, soft frail materials, and materials prone to amalgamation. The ability to test in realistic environmental conditions using liquid, temperature, and compression will give you a competitive advantage in your materials research and product development. Thank you for your time. please contact us directly for further information.